These 8 pickup trucks stopped being work vehicles the moment someone decided that towing a boat wasn't scary enough anymore. This truck's story starts with a partnership, not a factory. Chevrolet builds the ZR2, then ships it to American Expedition Vehicles in Michigan, who bolt on boron-steel armor and give it the Bison name, a badge that basically means, "We hit this with rocks on purpose and it survived." On the exterior, wider fenders, an off-road bumper, and front and rear boron-steel skid plates make it look like a truck that read the owner's manual and decided the warnings were more of a suggestion. Inside, a straightforward, rugged cabin with a big touchscreen and durable trim keeps the focus on capability over luxury, though it's still comfortable enough for a daily commute. Under the hood, a 6.2-liter V8 produces around 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, paired with multi-matic spool valve dampers that make washboard roads feel like somebody smoothed them out overnight while you weren't looking. As for the price, it starts around €82,000, which means for that money, you get a truck that can climb terrain most SUVs would take one look at and quietly reverse out of. Toyota spent decades building a reputation on trucks that simply refused to die, and then decided reliability alone wasn't going to win this fight anymore. The TRD Pro is the result. Toyota's answer to the question, what if the truck that never breaks also happened to be fast? On the exterior, a blacked-out grille, functional hood scoop, and TRD-tuned Fox shocks give it a stance that says off-road first, boardroom parking lot second. Inside, a 14-inch touchscreen, leather-trimmed TRD seats, and a surprisingly premium cabin remind you this isn't just a farm truck anymore, even if it still smells faintly of dust and ambition. Under the hood, a twin-turbo V6 paired with a hybrid system produces around 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque, launching this 3-ton truck toward 100 kilometers per hour in a genuinely undignified hurry for something this size and this practical. As for the price, it starts around €68,000, which means Toyota basically built a hybrid muscle truck and still expects it to outlive its owner by several decades. This truck exists because Ram had to solve an emotional problem, not just an engineering one. After the supercharged V8 TRX was discontinued, Ram needed something to fill a very loud silence, and the RHO is that answer, built on the brand's new Hurricane twin-turbo platform. On the exterior, a raised stance, 35-inch off-road tires, and a widened track give it the same intimidating shadow as its predecessor, just with a quieter badge on the tailgate. Inside, a massive portrait touchscreen, supportive off-road seats, and Ram's usual interior polish make it feel more premium than a truck built to jump dunes has any right to be. Under the hood, the twin-turbo inline-six produces around 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque, sending the RHO from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 4.6 seconds. As for the price, it starts around €82,000, which means Ram replaced a supercharged V8 legend with a turbocharged 6-cylinder, and somehow the truck got faster anyway. Ford's Raptor was already the truck other trucks pointed to as the reason off-road racing exists in the first place. And then Ford looked at the Ram TRX's supercharged V8 and apparently took it personally. The result, built with help from Ford Performance and tuned in partnership with Shelby, is the Raptor R, the most aggressive factory F-150 ever built. On the exterior, a functional hood scoop, wide fender flares, and 37-inch tires give it a stance that makes ordinary F-150s look like they're on a diet. Inside, Recaro Performance seats, a 12-inch digital gauge cluster, and a surprisingly luxurious cabin keep it comfortable even at speeds a pickup has no business reaching. Under the hood, a supercharged 5.2-liter V8 produces around 720 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque, launching this truck to 100 kilometers per hour in roughly 4.5 seconds. As for the price, it starts around €112,000, which means Ford built a pickup truck that can out-accelerate several sports sedans while still technically qualifying as a farm vehicle. Rivian's entire pitch when it launched in 2021 was simple. What if the electric truck revolution started with a startup instead of a legacy brand? And the R1T became the proof that idea could actually work. On the exterior, compact proportions, a low hood line, and a gear tunnel running beneath the bed give it a shape that looks more like an adventure vehicle than a traditional pickup. Inside, A minimalist cabin with a huge central screen and a driver display shows Rivian building for tech-first buyers, not traditional truck buyers. Under the floor, 4 independent motors combine for around 850 horsepower and a genuinely absurd amount of torque, allowing the Quad-Motor Performance version to launch from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 2.9 seconds, and even perform a full tank turn on the spot. As for the price, it starts around 96,000 euros, which means a company that didn't exist a decade ago now builds a truck that can spin in place like a tank and still fit in a normal parking space. Few vehicles have generated this much argument before a single unit shipped. Tesla first showed the Cybertruck in 2019 with a stainless steel exoskeleton that famously didn't survive a live demonstration unscratched, and the internet has not let it forget that moment since. On the exterior, unpainted stainless steel body panels, sharp angular lines, and a complete absence of curves give it a shape that looks like it was designed with a ruler instead of clay. Inside, a minimalist cabin dominated by a huge central touchscreen strips away nearly every traditional truck control in favor of software. Under the floor, the tri-motor Cyberbeast version produces around 845 horsepower, launching this 2.5-ton truck from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a claimed 2.6 seconds. A number that has made more than one sports car owner quietly recheck their own spec sheet. As for the price, it starts around 105,000 euros, which means the most divisive-looking vehicle on this list is also, on paper, one of the quickest. This is the strangest redemption story on the list. The Hummer name spent years as shorthand for excess and bad fuel economy, and then GMC brought it back in 2021 as a fully electric supertruck, which is either the most ironic rebrand in automotive history or the smartest one. On the exterior, a boxy, upright silhouette, removable roof panels, and 35-inch tires keep the classic Hummer stance, while ultravision cameras and crab-walk steering bring it firmly into the future. Inside, a dual-screen infotainment setup and a starlight effect headliner make the cabin feel more like a spaceship cockpit than a construction site truck. Under the floor, 3 motors combine for a factory-rated 1,000 horsepower, and GMC's own Watts to Freedom launch mode drops the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour time to around 3.3 seconds, for a vehicle that weighs roughly as much as a small elephant. As for the price, it starts around 115,000 euros for the Edition 1, which means the same name once mocked for getting 6 miles per gallon now embarrasses German sedans at a stoplight. This is where the list stops being about factories and starts being about one Texas tuning shop that simply refuses to accept a horsepower number as final. Hennessey Performance has spent over 3 decades taking already fast vehicles and making them faster. And when Ford handed them the 720 horsepower Raptor R, Hennessey looked at it the way a chef looks at a slightly undercooked steak. On the exterior, a wider aftermarket body kit, a functional hood vent, and Hennessey badging over the factory Raptor R silhouette turn an already aggressive truck into something that looks like it escaped a desert race series. Inside, the cabin stays close to the factory Raptor R layout because Hennessey's entire philosophy is spend the effort under the hood, not on the cup holders. Under the hood, Hennessey's supercharger upgrade and engine calibration push the supercharged V8 past 1,000 horsepower, according to the company's own published dyno figures, a number that turns an already unreasonable factory truck into something closer to a pickup-shaped missile. As for the price, it starts around 175,000 euros on top of the donor truck, which means the most powerful pickup on this entire list isn't something you order from a dealership. It's something you order from a shop that treats horsepower ceilings as A.